When people think about change, they imagine some massive leap, some overnight transformation. But the truth is, the greatest shifts in life are built in silence, in the daily grind, in the decision to be just a little better than you were yesterday. 1% may not sound like much, but 1% stacked day after day creates momentum that cannot be stopped. It's not about winning big all at once. It's about refusing to stay the same. The difference between those who talk about change and those who live it is found in the details. It's in the way you wake up and choose discipline over comfort. It's in the way you handle the moments nobody applauds. You don't need a spotlight to grow. You need consistency in the shadows. That's where real strength is built. And understand this, pain is not your enemy. Pain is a teacher. Every setback, every obstacle, every hard season is shaping you for what's ahead. If you run from pain, you run from growth. The very thing you call a burden may be the very thing preparing you to carry more than you ever thought possible. But growth doesn't come from motivation alone. Motivation is like a spark. It burns bright, but it fades quick. What keeps the fire alive is consistency, showing up when you don't feel like it, pushing forward when it's not convenient, doing the work when there's no applause. That's what separates people who talk from people who transform. Excuses will always whisper in your ear, but your vision has to speak louder. If your dream is strong enough, if your purpose is deep enough, you'll stop negotiating with your limitations. Vision breaks the walls that excuses build. It keeps you moving when everything around you says stop. And as you walk this journey, don't wait for perfection to celebrate. Progress is the proof that you're alive, that you're moving, that you're fighting forward. Perfection is an illusion, but progress, that's real. Every small step is a victory, and every victory builds the momentum you need to go further. So remember this, greatness isn't about doing something huge once. It's about doing something small every single day, with intention, with discipline, with purpose. If you improve yourself 1% every day, you won't just look back a year from now and see progress. You'll look back and realize you've become someone unrecognizable, someone stronger, someone sharper, someone who refused to settle. Because 1% may feel small in the moment, but over time, it becomes everything. ChatGPT said, when we hear the word change, most people think it has to be dramatic. Something so big it shakes the ground beneath them. But the truth is, real change isn't about one giant leap. It's about steady, intentional steps that feel almost invisible in the moment. Small gains create big change. You don't notice it when you're putting in that extra rep, when you're reading just 10 more pages, when you're waking up 15 minutes earlier. But over time, those tiny choices compound into something extraordinary. Think about it. If you choose to be 1% better today, then again tomorrow, and again the next day, by the end of the year, you're not the same person anymore. That's the power of compounding effort. It's like drops of water carving stone. At first, it seems like nothing is happening, but with enough time, it shapes mountains. The small habits you build today are the foundation for the victories you'll celebrate tomorrow. Too many people quit because they don't see instant results. They want transformation in a week, and when it doesn't show up, they think it's not working. But champions understand that greatness is built slowly, quietly, through small decisions that most people overlook. It's not glamorous, it's not loud, but it's effective. Every time you push yourself just a little more than you did yesterday, you're proving to yourself that growth is possible. So never underestimate the power of small gains. What feels like a minor step forward today is setting you up for a breakthrough tomorrow. Big change doesn't come from doing everything all at once. It comes from doing the right thing over and over until the world has no choice but to notice. Discipline is never about the big moments, the grand stages, or the applause. It's about the quiet decisions you make when no one's around to see it. It's easy to put on a show when the lights are on, but the truth of who you are is revealed in the details. The way you carry yourself when nobody's watching. Discipline in the details is what separates average from extraordinary. It's in the way you choose to get up when the alarm clock goes off instead of hitting snooze. It's in the way you finish the last rep when your body screams to stop. It's in the way you keep your word to yourself, even when no one else would ever know you broke it. Those moments don't make headlines, but they build habits, and habits build character. Most people lose not because they're incapable, but because they neglect the little things. They think the details don't matter, but the details decide everything. If you can't handle the small things with excellence, how can you expect to handle the big opportunities when they come? The truth is, the people who achieve greatness don't stumble into it. They prepare for it daily through the discipline of their routines, their standards, and their focus. The details may look insignificant to others, but they're where victories are hidden. Every choice you make in silence is setting the stage for the results you'll display in public. Discipline is a seed. You plant it in the unseen, water it with consistency, and one day it blooms into success so undeniable that everyone calls it talent, when in reality it was discipline in the details all along. Pain is one of the greatest teachers you will ever meet, but most people run from it. They see pain as punishment, as something unfair, as something designed to break them. But the truth is, pain, your enemy. It's the very thing that refines you, sharpens you, and prepares you for what's coming next. Every struggle you face, every setback you endure is carving strength into you that comfort could never give. Think about it. When have you grown the most in your life? Was it when everything was easy, smooth, and predictable? Or was it when life knocked you down, when you had to fight through tears, when you were forced to push beyond what you thought you could handle? Growth doesn't come from comfort. Growth is forged in the fire of adversity. Pain stretches you. Pain demands you to dig deeper, to discover a version of yourself that ease would have kept hidden. And here's the beauty of it. Pain gives you perspective. It teaches you gratitude for the things you once overlooked. It teaches you patience when nothing seems to change. It teaches you resilience, the kind of resilience that cannot be taught in a classroom or read in a book. You have to feel it. You have to carry it. And you have to endure it to understand its value. So instead of fearing pain, embrace it. Don't let it discourage you. Let it shape you. Don't let it convince you to quit. Let it convince you that you're being prepared for something greater. Pain isn't a signal to stop. It's a signal that you're being stretched into new levels of strength. And one day when you look back, the very thing you called a burden will be the reason you became unshakable. ChatGPT said, motivation feels good, but it's unreliable. It's like a burst of energy that burns out as quickly as it shows up. You can't build a life, a dream, or a legacy on something that comes and goes with your mood. Consistency, that's the real difference maker. Consistency is showing up when the feeling is gone. It's doing the work on the days when every excuse in the world tells you to stay in bed. It's building brick by brick until one day you look up and realize you've built something unshakable. The truth is, motivation can start the engine, but consistency keeps the wheels turning. Think about the people you admire, the ones who inspire you. They didn't get there because they had occasional bursts of energy or rare moments of passion. They got there because they showed up day after day, regardless of how they felt. They understood that feelings are temporary, but habits are permanent. Consistency is the quiet grind. It's the repetition that feels boring to most, but produces greatness for the few who stick with it. It's what turns practice into mastery, discipline into lifestyle, and small steps into giant leaps. You don't need to be extraordinary once in a while. You need to be consistent every single day. When motivation fades, and it will, consistency will carry you. It will remind you of the standard you set for yourself. It will separate you from the crowd of people who start strong and quit early, because the truth is, success doesn't belong to the most talented. It belongs to the most consistent. And if you're willing to keep showing up, keep grinding, keep putting in that 1% every day, there is nothing that can stop you from becoming who you were meant to be. Excuses are easy. They roll off the tongue without effort. I don't have the time, so I don't have the resources. Sin, I don't feel ready. Excuses will always be available, and if you let them, they will build walls around your potential. But vision breaks those walls. When you have a vision that burns deep inside of you, stronger than any excuse, you stop negotiating with your limitations. You stop looking for a way out and start finding a way through. Vision gives you direction when everything else feels uncertain. It reminds you of where you're going when the road gets rough. Excuses are loud in the moment, but vision is louder over the long run. Vision is what makes you get back up when life knocks you down. Vision is what pushes you to keep grinding when your body is tired and your mind is begging for comfort. Vision doesn't ask, do you feel like it? Vision demands, do you want it bad enough? People who live by excuses stay trapped. They talk about what they could have been, what they should have done, what might have happened if life was fair, but people who live by vision don't settle for talking, they live it. They move forward with purpose even when the odds are stacked against them. They understand that excuses might make you feel comfortable for a moment, but vision will give you fulfillment for a lifetime. So when excuses show up, and they will, you've got to measure them against your vision. Ask yourself, is my dream stronger than my reason to quit? Because if your vision is big enough, if it's real enough, if it's anchored deep enough in your heart, every excuse becomes irrelevant. Vision doesn't wait for the perfect time, it creates the time. It doesn't wait for the opportunity, it builds the opportunity. Vision greater than excuses is what transforms ordinary people into leaders, into fighters, into champions. Perfection is a trap. It paralyzes people. It makes them believe they can't start until everything is lined up just right, or that they can't celebrate until the end result looks flawless. But the truth is, perfection doesn't exist. What does exist, what matters, is progress. Every step forward, no matter how small, is proof that you're moving, that you're learning, that you're becoming stronger than you were yesterday. Too many people quit on themselves because they're measuring their journey against an impossible standard. They look at how far they still have to go instead of how far they've already come. They discount the late nights they survived, the mornings they pushed through, the times they showed up even when it hurt. But those moments count. They are victories, no matter how small, and they deserve to be celebrated. Progress builds confidence. Progress builds momentum. When you stop waiting for perfect and start recognizing the growth that's already happening, you fuel yourself to keep going. It's like climbing a mountain. If you only stare at the peak, you'll feel overwhelmed. But when you stop and look back at how high you've already climbed, you realize just how strong you are, and that strength pushes you to keep ascending. So don't let the idea of perfection steal your joy. Perfection will always leave you empty, but progress will always remind you that you were alive, that you're growing, that you're not the same person you were yesterday. And if you keep celebrating progress, one step at a time, 1% every day, you'll look up and realize you've achieved more than perfection ever promised. Because the goal was never to be flawless. The goal was to keep moving forward. At the end of the day, life isn't about giant leaps or overnight success. It's about the small, steady steps you take every single day. It's about having the discipline to honor the details, the courage to let pain teach you, the commitment to stay company, insistent when motivation fades, the strength to let vision speak louder than excuses, and the humility to celebrate progress instead of chasing perfection. That's how you transform yourself, 1% at a time. The world may not notice it today and maybe not tomorrow, but when you stack those small gains day after day, the results become undeniable. You'll look back and realize the little choices, the ones that seemed ordinary, were actually extraordinary. They were building you, molding you, and preparing you for moments bigger than you imagined. So don't wait for the perfect time, don't wait for the spotlight, and don't wait for someone else to validate your journey. Start now. Get better now, 1% every single day. Because if you can commit to that, there will come a day when you won't just see the change, you'll be the change. And that right there is how small gains create a big difference.